How many of you invest in stock market? Please raise your hand. Okay, nice, nice. How many of you invest in cryptos? That's great. Quite a few. And now my next question is, how many of you actually earn profits out of it? Okay. So even if you do have earned profits, government is here to eat up your share by 30%, or it may extend to almost 40 or 42% by giving regards to the surcharge and says that you may be levied. So, hello and a very good afternoon to all the dignitaries present over here, fellow paper presenters and my dear friends. So, I am Khalid Akunji, CA finalist, all the way from Diamond City, Surat, and I am here to enunciate and present the topic of taxation of virtual digital asset. So, let's rewind and understand the journey of cryptocurrency a little bit. So, in 2009, the Japanese guy called Satoshi Nakamoto introduced this concept of cryptocurrency to the world. In 2013, RBI cautioned the citizens of India to refrain from these cryptocurrencies. So, in 2018, finally, government virtually banned the cryptocurrencies. So, now you may ask that what is this virtual ban? So, they directed the financial institutions to not to engage with the persons who are dealing in the cryptocurrency or any cryptocurrency related activities. So now this might sound too bossy like this. So finally in 2020, Supreme Court citing it as an unconstitutional and violation of fundamental right uplifted this ban, and this led to a surge in the cryptocurrency investment in India. So government has to come up with certain sections to regulate this kind of to regulate these cryptocurrencies. And hence, while Finance Act 2022, they introduced 115 BBH and 194S section. So as we know, nothing is certain except death and taxes. So I have been using this word crypto every time. But let me rephrase this. So the term used in income tax is virtual digital asset and not the crypto. So what is this VADA? I mean, not this VADA, this VADA, virtual digital asset VADA. So let's understand one by one. So firstly, we have these bitcoins. So what is this? Any information, code, token, whether obtained through cryptographic means or otherwise. Now focus on this word, otherwise I will come to this later. Providing digital representation of exchangeable value, and means it is representing you digitally. So if you have a point, then you have it physically, but in this case you have it virtually. So that's the case. Now next point, why we need to focus on this and why it is different from others. For that we have to understand these two things. Number one is stocks. So as the name suggests, stock market, each and every one of us invest in this. So stock has basically, what we do is we earn returns in the form of dividend and capital appreciation, right? On the other hand, we have this traditional currencies like this note, right? We have this traditional currencies. Why we use it? So we use it as a medium to exchange, right? We purchase each and everything. This is legal tender given by RBI. And कभी ऐसा सुना है कि 100 की नोट को रखी और 500 की हो गई? किसने सुना है ऐसा? सुना है? So there is no capital appreciation to it. Now, so cryptos are the fusion of both of this. What I mean is cryptocurrency. So currency means it can be used as a medium to exchange. But in majority of the countries across the globe, governments do not consider it as a legal tender. It's primarily because there is no central authority who is controlling. And the second thing, so it is like a threat to their authority. So they don't want to be promoting it as a legal tender. Now, the second thing is we can use it as an investment instrument. Like we use it, share is also an investment instrument. So we can use the cryptos as an investment instrument. So that's where the real potential lies. So how much potential you may ask? So let me give you one example. But उससे पहले एक शायरी हो जाए. So नशा इसमें खूब है, नशा इसमें खूब है, लेकिन नहीं है ये वाइन. नशा इसमें खूब है, लेकिन नहीं है ये वाइन. कहता है ऐसी डिजिटल करेंसी, नाम है इसका बिटकॉइन. So, yeah, I was talking about Bitcoin. People often equate the term crypto with Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is different. So, this is the last 10 years chart for the Bitcoin. And once in 2016, one Bitcoin was reached for rupees 46 lakh rupees. Now, mind you, before 2009, something like Bitcoin was not even in the existence. So, something which was made out of nothing was reached 46 lakh rupees for just one Bitcoin. And as of the date I am speaking, it is traded at around 24 lakh rupees. So experiencing over more than 50% decline in this value. So we can say that this has led few people a crorepati, but many people a rodepati. So now, second part of this definition, NFTs, non-fungible token. So what is NFTs? So if I were to explain you simply, so NFTs are, for example, if you see anything over the internet, so you own nothing. But what if you want to own anything, right? So here comes the concept of NFT into play, and this. So do you know this guy? Yes. So he is Jack Dorsey, founder of Twitter, actual founder. So this is his first tweet, world's first tweet, just setting up the Twitter. And recently, in 2021, he sold his tweet. NFTs we can sell. So he sold his tweet. Any guesses for how much? Abhi just dikha liya. So he sold it for almost 3 million just for this tweet. It's almost more than 23 crore rupees. So that's the power of NFTs. And okay, so this was the definition, but there are certain exceptions also given. So let's discuss one by one. So NFTs where underlying asset is any tangible asset. For example, I have this image of home and I turn it into NFTs and I sell it to some guy. Now underlying asset here is my actual house. So if I am selling my NFT, in essence, actually my house is something which is getting transferred. So in this kind of transaction, normal capital gain transaction, normal capital gain would apply and not this specific section. Okay. Few other exceptions are like gift cards, vouchers to obtain goods from future goods or service. So if you pay on Google Pay, you get a scratch cards. Right? So it is providing a digital representation of value. It is digitally representing value. So remember in first point I emphasized on the word otherwise. So this is exception to that otherwise. Okay. There are few more exceptions. Reward points like what we get on payment of credit cards and all this. And subscription to any website and all this are also not part of virtual digital asset. So appetizer is done. Now let's focus on main course, which is, so this was the entire definition. Okay, let's focus on main course, which is 115 BBA. So this is special section which was introduced by White Finance Act 2022. So it provides a 30% flat tax plus surcharge plus cess. So irrespective of your profit, you are supposed to pay 30% tax on it, irrespective of the fact. Now, okay, under which head it should be taxed? So confusion would be like, should this be taxed on the capital gain head or PGBP head or what? So there is no clarification given in this section itself. But if giving regards to the frequency and nature of the transaction, you may consider it under the capital gain head, or if the transactions are more, so you may convert it into the PGBP. But there is one clarification which is clearly given here. If you so there will be no indexation in case of if you are if you are classifying it under the capital gain head. Okay. Now my next question, LTCG में जाएगा या STCG में जाएगा? Any answer? LTCG लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन मानेंगे या शॉर्ट टर्म कैपिटल गेन मानेंगे, उसकी क्या डेफिनेशन रहेगी? So let me tell you, ऐसा कुछ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, because the purpose of classifying under long term or short term is simply because long term के लिए अलग से अलग रेट से, short term के लिए अलग रेट है, but यहाँ तो सीधा दे दिया है, right? So there is no need for such classification. Now my next question, okay. Now next point is set off, regarding set off and carry forward. So in case of if you want to set off this, so there will be you cannot set off against any other income. And now the most important part is carry forward, and you cannot carry forward the losses or you have derived from the virtual digital asset in the next assessment years. Now this is the most crucial point, because if you see any section on over the Income Tax Act, if no set off, then at least carry forward subject to certain restriction is always allowed. But in this case, set off is also not allowed and carry forward is also not allowed. So we can say that this is like a nationalization of profit but privatization of loss, right? Now, to keep an eye on this entire provisions and to ensure that no revenue leakage is there, they have introduced TDS section of 194S. So the rate is 1%, and there are two threshold limits provided. So let's discuss one by one. Number one is 50,000 rupees. So here two class of person will be covered under 50,000 threshold limit. So first one being individuals and HUF having no business or profession, like they are salaried individuals or income from other source. This will be covered under this 50,000 threshold limit. And the second being individuals and HUF having PGBP income, but turnover is less than 1 crore or 50 lakh. Turnover is less than 1 crore or 50 lakh, respectively. So these people will be classified under first threshold of 50,000. And next threshold is 10,000. Any person not covered above will be covered here. So if you see, if you observe closely, the first limit is similar to section 194M, if you could relate to it. Okay. Now, next point is, let's discuss few important points. So no TAN is required. So there is section 203A, which mandates if any person is liable to deduct TDS, then he is supposed to have a TAN number. But in this case, this is relaxed. And the second point is 206AB. This is important because 206AB states that if any person who has not filed ROI, then he will be liable to be deducted at TDS will be at a higher rate. But this is relaxed in this case. Next point is 194O, and what if both the section 194O and 194S is applicable? So let's discuss this. So for example, you bought an NFT and you paid it through PayPal's payment gateway. Now in this case, what's happening? PayPal is a payment gateway. So payment gateway is e-commerce operator, and 194O is also applicable. You are also purchasing an NFT. So this is also covered under 194S. So both the sections are attracted. So which should be given regards? So 194S should prevail and not the 194O. अब काटेगा कौन? मतलब tax. So generally, two people are in the transaction. One is buyer, one is seller, right? The one who is paying will deduct TDS, as simple as that. But in this case, there are four type of people involved in this transaction. Number one is buyer, NSCs and BSCs in the stock market. So for the cryptos, we have like Binance. So, and fourth number being broker. So in this case of stock market, we have Zerodha and all this. But in the case of 194S, we have Coinbase, etc., etc. So what to do? Who will deduct the TDS? So this is a table which provides all the possible scenarios, and there is an answer that who will deduct TDS. So if I were to put it simply, if you are buyer and there are only two parties, buyer and seller, buyer will deduct TDS. If there is stock or crypto exchange or broker is involved, they will deduct TDS, as simple as that. Let's move on to next. What is this? Now, let me, this represents a complex scenario. Let me break down it for you guys. So, for example, I have Bitcoin, you have Dogecoin. Now, I want Dogecoin, you want Bitcoin. Okay? So, अब ऐसा कर सकते हैं क्या? Can we exchange it? Remember, I told you, you can use it as a medium to exchange. So we can absolutely do this. Now, the problem here in this transaction is no one is paying in the Indian currency. For deduction of TDS, we need Indian currency. But no one is here having Indian currency. So what to do? And on top of it, these transactions are generally executed via crypto exchanges like Binance in this case. So what to do? So the simple clarification given over here is, okay. So what's happening here is I am selling my Bitcoin and purchasing the Dogecoin. On the other hand, the other party is selling his Dogecoin and purchasing the Bitcoin. So in this case, both the persons are selling and buying. So here two transactions are happening, and both the transactions should be. So the question is, should both the transactions be covered under TDS or एक कर दो चलेगा, क्या करना चाहिए? Okay, so the clarification given over here is both the legs of transaction, in both the legs of transaction, TDS should be deducted by the crypto exchange itself, and they will convert it in the Indian currency and they will deposit it to the government. So that was the entire section 194S and 115 BBH. So thank you for considering this.